everyone, welcome back to the Financial Fitness channel. My name is Ying. Today, I'll be sharing how I spend less than 1,000 ringgit a month using the cash envelope system. So if you want to learn how to spend less and save more, then keep on watching. About a month ago, my sister Ivy said that I've been spending mindlessly online ever since the pandemic. So she challenges me to spend only 1,000 ringgit a month using the envelope system. So throughout this challenge period, this challenge have helped me to become more mindful on my spendings. And I also noticed how often I have been impulse buying. So if you're the type that just doesn't know where you have spent all your money, or somehow just find yourself constantly running out of money by the end of the month, I would highly recommend this challenge to you. This challenge would be more suited for people who wants to save more or avoid impulse buying. The way I did this challenge is a little bit different from your typical envelope budget system. Usually for the envelope budget system, you would write a spending category for each envelope, like water bill for instance, and then you would set a limit for each category and put this exact amount of cash in the envelope. Now, I hate to track things and I don't like to carry so many envelopes with me when I go out. So we adjusted the envelope system to an envelope lucky draw system, where every day I would draw an envelope from a box and inside the envelope it would state a number, and that would be my allowance for that day. For example, let's say that I draw 10 ringgit. So I can only use 10 ringgit as my personal spendings, or I could also choose to save it for another day. So how do I set up? It's actually pretty easy. You just need a box, poker cards, and envelopes. Okay, the reason why I'm using ang pao packets is because I don't have any envelopes sitting around my house. And I don't want to start my budgeting challenge to spend more money to buy envelopes. So I use old ang pao packets that I have and a deck of poker cards. If you don't have poker cards, you can use Uno cards, or you can write your numbers on a piece of paper, tear it up, then slot them into each envelope. That works as well. Just use whatever that's sitting around your house. You need 30 cards, one card for each day. Each of these cards represent a number, and I use that number as the amount of allowances I have that day. So if you're using a poker card, you will need 4 ones, 4 twos, 4 threes, 4 fours, 4 six, 3 fives, 3 sevens, and finally 4 jokers. In total, you should have 30 cards in your hands, and all the numbers on these cards will add up to 1,000 ringgit. So if I drew a 3, it would mean that I can use 30 ringgit as my allowance. But if I drew a joker, it would mean there's no allowance for me for that day. Since there is 4 jokers here, I will have 4 days without any allowances. But if I have some balance that I've saved up from the previous days, I can use the balance instead. But if you want to make it more challenging, you can choose not to use the balance. Then every day after I drew the card, I would write it down and record my previous day's expenses. I've included the template in the description down below. You can use this template by printing it, or like me, I just write it on my iPad. So what are the rules? You can spend on anything you want as long as you stick to the daily allowances that you have drawn. And this spending challenge does not include expenses that's on auto deduction, like your mobile bills, insurance, car loans, house loan, and so on. This is more like your day-to-day spendings. For example, like your groceries, petrol, toll, parking, food and drinks, shopping, and so on. You get it. The first few days of the challenge were not too bad. I always thought of myself as someone who is frugal, so I didn't think I would have any problem with this challenge. Although there is some restriction in my spendings, I thought it was still okay until when I went grocery shopping. I think grocery shopping is my weakness. I usually don't track what I spend on when I'm at the grocery stores. I'll just pick out things that I like or what my family would like to eat and put them into my cart. I know it's a bad habit, but well, like I said, it's my weakness. Thankfully, this challenge has helped me to be more mindful, so I know that I have to plan ahead so that I won't go over my budget. For example, during my challenge, after 8 days, I have saved up 225 ringgit of my allowance. And because I know I have a yoga class payment that I have to make, which is 120 ringgit, I can only spend 105 ringgit for my groceries. So with that 105 ringgit balance in mind, I started by listing down the items that's on my top priority, which means items that I need to buy, or low priority items like snacks or fruits that I like to have. Another tip that I've learned from this challenge is to be aware of sales and promotions. Wait, you didn't hear me wrong. Yes, I'm saying no to sales and promotions. Why? Let me give you an example. When I was at the grocery store, I needed to buy one pair, just one. And there's a promotion where you can buy 3 for 10 ringgit instead of buying 1 at 4 ringgit. Normally, I would have just taken 3 without any hesitation. But if you really think about it, if I had bought 3 pairs, I didn't save 2 ringgit. I've overspent by 6 ringgit. So little things like this could help me save tons of money where I could have invested and earned more returns. By the end of this challenge, I've spent 854 ringgit and 95 cents. Have I ever overspent during this challenge? Yes, I did. There was one week where I went to a grocery store that I wasn't really familiar with, and because of that, I started linger and slowly adding things to my cart that wasn't on my list, and that's how I overspent by 5 ringgit. This is why I recommend to shop at a grocery store that you are familiar with, because you'll know where the items are and you can get in, get out as soon as possible. So is it okay to overspend? Well, of course it's not advisable because it defeats the purpose of this envelope system. By drawing an envelope each day, it paces ourselves to spend with the allowance that we draw instead of having one lump sum at 1,000 ringgit. But this is not an ironclad rule, because in the end, it's all about self-discipline and following the rules that you've set out for yourself. So the rules in this challenge and system works for me, but it may not work for you. You can always adjust it your way and set your goals and rules. Just make sure you stick to your rules and achieve your goal. Don't be afraid to start. Whenever I ask my friends, would you be able to spend only 1,000 ringgit a month? A lot of them would immediately say, no, that's impossible lah. 1,000 ringgit, so little only. But it's actually absolutely doable. So don't say no before you've actually tried it. Don't think too much about it. Just get it started. If 1,000 ringgit is really too little, you can adjust it. You would want to set a budget level that's not too much, then you'll have a lot of balance, or you end up not saving at all. Or too little that you're struggling and skipping your meals. It must be just nice. That's just my tips for savings. If you want to learn how to grow your money, you should check out some of our videos right here. Don't hesitate to drop your questions in the comment box down below, and we'll see you next time. Bye!